21 days in the hospital. They told me that I wasn't allowed to take her home and that she was going to be placed into foster care. The Idris family walks in to the hospital room. I'm not here to take your child from you. She's going to be coming home to you. I'm just going to care for her until we can bring her back home. It's 27th, 2019. My daughter was hospitalized. We found that she had an old brain bleed and 2 healing rib fractures and a new brain bleed. And my ex-husband was the one that caused the injuries. That led to a criminal investigation. She spent 21 days in Hershey Medical Center fighting for her life. My husband was incarcerated. I was told that I couldn't take her home and that my oldest daughter was going to be taken from me as well. After 21 days in the hospital, they told me that I wasn't allowed to take her home and that she was going to be placed into foster care. And the Idris family walks in to the hospital room. Janelle said to me, "I'm not here to take your child from you. She's going to be coming home to you. I'm just going to care for her until we can bring her back home." It took me almost 2 years to get her out of the foster system. It was a terrible, terrible time in my life. From that 2-year experience, Janelle and I and her family have become very close. I was upset, of course. I was really mad. I felt like I was being punished for something that I didn't do. I was experiencing every single emotion that you can.
Yeah, because it's not just your child, you also have your relationship.
Yeah.
This is like this hodgepodge of emotions, right?
Yeah. And she was only 3 months old. And, that's the time when you're bonding most with your baby.
Yeah.
So I was angry and sad. But when she said that to me, it was nice. My husband was taken to jail. My daughter is fighting for her life. I had to move out of my mom's house. And my brother was stationed in Africa. My middle sister was in jail. I didn't have anybody.
Where are you at this point in time in your faith?
Nobody really taught me about God or Jesus or the Bible or faith. So at that time, I would say I didn't even have a foundation. But I still prayed.
Really?
Just hoping that somebody would hear me. So I finally got Raylan back after about 2 years. And it was a pretty hard transition for me. I was a single mom. I was a full-time nurse. I worked 12-hour shifts. I had to leave the hospital because I couldn't work the 12-hour shifts being a single mom. So I had to find a new job Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, basically. Daycare is not cheap either. I basically worked for daycare.
So you overcame all that stuff. You just kept trucking.
I did what I had to do to get her back because I was getting her back.
So I deeply admire that, actually. It is beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm sure you know that now, looking on it, looking back on it, but in the middle of it, it's like fortitude, it's determination, all that stuff. It's really great.
Yeah. Hardest thing I've ever had to face. And I would not wish that upon any enemy of mine.
Right. Just to encourage you. Many years from now, your daughter will hear of this and it will give her a grit. It's like these things we do, we don't realize that that's like what it is generationally. Like they're watching and it makes them who they are because she'll face things, the very potential person that's going to take your child, right, becomes your good friend. And then you guys kind of bless each other.
I started to come to Encounter back in March of last year. Janelle had invited me to church. If you ever want to come to church, you're more than welcome. You can sit with me.
That moved the needle because you're like, I'm nervous. I don't want to.
I was
Right.
nervous because, I didn't have a strong foundation. I didn't know anything about Jesus or the Bible. I had never even opened a Bible at that point. So it was scary for me. And it took me months to finally accept the offer. But I had broke my foot last January. So I was off for 3 months. And then one morning I was sitting on my porch outside. I felt God tell me that it was time. So I texted Janelle and I said, I'm going to come to church with you. And she said, okay. And I've been coming ever since. I had no sense of community. I didn't go to church. I didn't know people. I was afraid all around. But that quickly changed.
Good experience, and people treat you with respect.
Church is amazing. And it felt like home.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing to hear. Obviously, I love hearing that.
I would say kind of started to build my foundation of my faith. And I wanted to get more involved in the church. Janelle had said about the Keystone Family Alliance.
Obviously resonated with you.
Yeah. And she said, it's to support the foster families within the community. And I was like, yes, I want in. I went to the orientation, not really knowing a lot about it, not really knowing what to expect. And they said, we need 4 team leaders. But aside from that, if you want to just provide a meal a week, you could be on a team. You don't really not much. And I remember we had to scan the QR code and select what we wanted. And I just felt God calling me to it. And I was afraid, and my finger hovered over that team leader button. I was afraid. I never been a leader. I don't know how to run things. I'm like a worker bee. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it, But I just felt him say, like, I'm with you and I will lead you through this. And I clicked it. And
you hovered over it for 45 minutes.
It felt like 40 minutes.
Wow.
I was so afraid. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, But I love it. I love it now. Made a really good friendship with the foster family that I am in charge of. And my team's amazing.
I wouldn't imagine you have like an enormous amount of margin in your life. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
But you still did it.
I did it. I did it because, I wanted to help. But I knew that God would, if this was what he wants of me, then I would make it work.
Enriched your life.
It did.
I think you're going to be able to do things, and you're going to be able to talk to people. You're going to be able to navigate the world in a way. And God needs that. I mean, it's very interesting to me that you've kind of seen both sides, for example, and probably have empathy for both of them now.
Yes.
Which most people would only have one perspective. So it's like your little Rosetta Stone for the whole foster care system.
If you feel called to do something, whether it's in the church, outside the church, and you really feel it in your soul that this is what you were called to do. I would say trust that feeling.
And be obedient to it.
The support from them to me, and I knew how challenging it was going to be, especially with it being their first foster child. And just the support that they were going to need and that we were going to kind of feed off of each other. The parent who had their child taken from them for whatever reason, they need somebody there for them. Even just knowing that somebody's praying for you, somebody to talk to. And I think that if we are more supportive of foster parents, foster families, that they'll foster longer. And it's just nice to know that I can be a part of that.
Yep.
Like the word, like the foster system. It's like such a negative connotation.
Yeah, true.
And I just think that, I mean, from my experience, it was just such a beautiful outcome. Janelle wanted me to show you this. Hers is it as well, and mine is with my soul.
It's a hard story, but it's a powerful one.
Well, thanks for having me.